But first, it's a top story today, and we do not want to shy away from it. Philip Schofield has given an interview to both the BBC and the Sun newspaper. So let's see what Philip had to say.
You've had quite the week. How are you?
It's like a weird numbness. I know that's a selfish point of view. But you come to a point where you just think, how much are you supposed to take? If all of those people that write all of that stuff, do they ever think that there's actually a person at the other end? There are a great many things that have been said that are categorically untrue.
So it's obviously very difficult for us to cover this story as a friend and a colleague. Giles and Sonia, we get your thoughts.
Yes. Well, as he says, there are a great many things that have been said, and there's going to be an external review that will look into all of that. But watching this clip, I was reminded immediately of a great saying by a writer, Henry James, an American writer who lived in England, who said, in life there are 3 rules. The first rule is be kind, the second rule is be kind, the third rule is be kind. Mm-hmm. And watching a human being here telling his side of the story reminds me that perhaps there hasn't been much kindness in the way this has all been handled. So I look forward to the external review, but at the moment I have great empathy and sympathy with the people, all the people involved in this, including, of course, Philip.
I thought Hammond did an incredible job because it wasn't without empathy, but at the same time he very much held Phil to account. Mm-hmm. So your thoughts on what you saw?
Yeah, I think that's right, and I think that's very important because Philip has admitted wrongdoing in the workplace. He's admitted lying about that wrongdoing in the workplace. And for me, I think having an affair with a much, much younger colleague does constitute an abuse of power in the workplace. So I think it's absolutely right that ITV have launched an external review that's going to be done by a senior independent lawyer that's going to look at exactly what happened. And I think it's very important that we all look at the findings of that when they come out.
Yeah, so the barrister's going to do an external review. The whole interview, I think, is about 44 minutes. It's on the BBC website, on the iPlayer with Hammond. I think we've got another clip lined up as well. Take a look.
I have brought myself down. I am done. I have to talk about television in the past tense, which breaks my heart. But it continues. And it is relentless, and it is day after day after day after day. And if you do that, if you don't think that that is going to have the most catastrophic effect on someone's mind, what do you want me to die? Because that's where I am. My girls saved my life. They said last week they haven't left me for a moment. They've been by my side every moment because they're scared to let me out of their sight. What is that like for daughters to have to go through something like that? And they said to me, don't you dare do this on our watch. We're supposed to be looking after you. And if my girls hadn't been there, I wouldn't be here. Because I don't see a future.
Oh, I'm just finding it really painful because obviously, you know, I loved Philip Schofield, and it's weird because I still love Philip Schofield. However, what he's done is wrong. He's admitted it, he's said sorry. But as a family, we're all really struggling to process everything. And I'd never know what to say, but I remember what my mum said. My mum always said, you know, use your Bible as your sat-nav in life, Al. And in the Bible it says, he without sin cast the first stone. And I just don't want to say anything bad because obviously I'm in conflict.
Of course. I think so many of us are.
I think so many of us are,
There's a
particularly
conflation
here.
here, Giles, isn't there, between, obviously, Sonia says what Phil's done is wrong, but at the same time,
it's a human
There's still a
story.
human being
It's a
behind it,
human
yeah,
story,
on all sides,
but with
yeah.
public implications. And the point is the public implications to do with broadcasting and to do with workplace rules, regulations, good behaviour. That is going to be dealt with by the review, and we'll learn the consequences of that.
Yeah.
At the same time, we are dealing with a human being that all of us here have known and liked over many years.
Yeah.
So it makes it difficult for us. And really what I'm saying is that the reaction to it has been, in some ways, disproportionate at the human level.
well,
and some
on
of
the
that...
front cover of a paper for the best part of 2021, 22, 3
And there's so much a man can take, isn't there? There's so much, and I don't want any death in this situation.
And I'm with you about he who is without sin, let him cast the first stone. I mean, there's been clearly an error of judgment, at least here, which
But also,
he admits to.
as a society, quite rightly, we're talking about mental health all the time. But you can't. That can't be the preserve of people who are on the right side of history.
Absolutely. And I think for me, watching that interview, it's a reminder that people can do wrong things. They can do very bad things. That doesn't take away the fact that there's a duty of care to all sides, and we should think as a society about how we, treat people regardless of what they've done.
Yeah. If there's a duty of care here, which there is, there's also a duty of care for other broadcasters and the newspapers and other individuals in our industry of how they report it and commentate on it.
Thank you, Giles. Thank you, Sonia. Going to be discussing more of today's top stories and headlines right after this.